Hi, I'm Laura. Please subscribe to our channel for videos about parenting and mental health, and today I want to tell you about 10 things I've actually gained from having experienced postnatal depression. Postnatal depression and anxiety is easily the most difficult thing I've ever experienced and happened during one of the most painful times in my life. So it's really hard to imagine any good things to come from it, but I can't deny the fact that I have grown and changed and learned a great deal of things about myself which are actually going to benefit me during the rest of my life. The first thing I've gained from having experienced postnatal depression is increased empathy. I'm not saying I was a particularly unkind person before, but when you've experienced such low mood and difficult times, you cannot help but feel empathy for people in general, and specifically for people who are also struggling with their mental health. I feel like I can truly understand those who are suffering from both perinatal mental illnesses and anxiety, and just feel like it's improved me as a person in that respect. Number 2, letting go of worry. I was a terrible worrier, and I still am to a certain extent, but having experienced such intense anxiety and having to go through therapy and learn coping mechanisms for that anxiety, I've managed to learn a great deal about letting go of worry in general, which has improved my life immensely because I don't waste time worrying about things that I cannot change or know about the future. Number 3, I am a much more positive person. Trying to think positively when you're struggling with any mental health issue is incredibly difficult. Being positive is not really our default setting as humans anyway, but when you're struggling with depression or anxiety it's even more difficult. However, after a long time and a long recovery period, I really felt like I had learned how to think more positively, and in fact it had become an essential part of my recovery period, and I've carried that through into my life in general, and I now think more positively automatically without having to really work at it anymore. Number 4, my blog. So those of you who don't know me, my name's Laura Clark and I'm the blogger behind The Butterfly Mother. You'll find a link to that at the bottom in the doobly-doo on this video. The blog has become a huge part of my life. I started it to help other people who had suffered from PND and anxiety, and it's now become a massive part of my life, a huge hobby, and something I feel incredibly passionate about. And I wouldn't have even considered starting a blog had I not experienced postnatal depression and anxiety in the first place. Number 5, connection with others. I have met so many incredible people on my journey, both during my recovery from postnatal depression and anxiety and since then through the blogging and the advocacy work. The most important of which is Sarah, who is the co-creator on this YouTube channel. We have found a fantastic bond with each other, we are great friends, and we are hoping to do fantastic things for mental health advocacy in the future. The connections that I've made through recovery I feel are going to stay with me for life and have just been a really enriching experience. Number 6, gratitude. Again, as well as positivity and letting go of worry, one of the things I've learned both from therapy and through self-help is the importance of practicing gratitude. Even during your darkest hours or when you've had terrible news, if you can find 3 things at the end of every day to note down that were positive, that you're grateful for, that are good things in their life, and they do not have to be big things. During the worst of my illness, some of my gratitude journaling consisted of I enjoyed the taste of my dinner tonight, or my son smiled at me. Things that are very small and simple, but when you're struggling with your mental health, getting any kind of enjoyment from something can be difficult. So if I found any pleasure or peace from something, I would note that down in my gratitude list. And again, I've carried that through to the rest of my life, even after recovery, and it's something that, ironically, I'm very, very grateful for. Number 7, living in the present. Mindfulness is a bit of a buzzword these days, but I definitely believe there is something in it when it comes to recovering from a mental health issue. Anxiety especially is very much rooted in your fears and worries about the future, whether that be the immediate future or the long-term future, and if you can find a way to live in the present only, then the anxiety has no fuel to consume you with. Mindfulness is one way of doing this, in particular mindfulness meditation, but also just practicing mindfulness in your everyday life, centering yourself in your senses, what you can see and hear, etc., can really bring you back down to the present moment and really help you battle and overcome anxiety and panic attacks. Number 8, resilience. I lived a really charmed life before I experienced postnatal depression and anxiety. Everything in my life had gone mostly to plan. I had the normal worries and ups and downs, but I hadn't experienced any real difficulties or tragedies. Having experienced the difficulty of postnatal depression and the long recovery that comes with it, I really feel that I've built up a resilience to any future problems that have come my way. For example, having experienced a miscarriage and fertility issues, I've been able to face them in a stronger way than I ever would have if I hadn't previously had to battle with my mental health recovery. Number 9, education. I have learnt so much about mental health in the last 5 years, and that has just opened my mind and really made me consider what I want to do in my future. I've always been interested in psychology and even did a psychology A-level, but my interest has increased tenfold, having experienced it myself, and I think it's so important for us to educate ourselves and then ultimately hope to educate others a little bit as well. Number 10, finally, future career. I feel like there are so many routes that I could go down in the distant future, both with my blogging and influencing, or with the peer support groups that Sarah already has and that I'm hoping to set up soon, or even going back into education, training in psychology, or going to be a mental health support worker. There are so many options that I now feel incredibly passionate about, and I look forward to potentially pursuing in the future. So if anyone is suffering at the moment with their mental health and they really feel like there is nothing to be grateful for, there is nothing good about what they're experiencing, I'm not going to try and pretend that having experienced postnatal depression was a good thing. It was serious suffering, it was the worst time of my life, but I have learned and developed as a person ever since then, and there are certain tools and strategies that I can take into the rest of my life and that I am really happy that I now have. For more videos about parenting and mental health, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, because Sarah and I will be posting new videos on a very regular basis and we'd love to have you watch them. Bye!